Hello and welcome to my quick review of the game Phantom Hysteria. This is a small indie title made by the Lunar Tail Games. It follows the basic ghost hunting genre, except it does have a major difference that makes it stand out from the rest. First, I'd like to give my general opinion about the game. It is definitely a diamond in the rough. However, the community seems, or at least the developers seem to be watching streamers and other people talk about it, because while I was streaming, they did show up for my stream and ask me my opinion about it and ask me, hey, what could we do better? And I just kind of gave them my basic opinion at that point because I had only been playing for about an hour and a half. And that's really important because that shows, hey, these developers actually want to talk to the community about their game and then see what they can do to get it fixed. So this is definitely something we should take advantage of and speak our mind about and get on board of this game. Now, enough of that, let's get into actually talking about the game itself. The game kind of starts off like every other ghost hunting game where you use EMF readers, UV lights to kind of search for clues that determine what kind of ghost it is. However, if you either successfully or unsuccessfully determine the ghost, a boss fight is triggered and you just kind of go in a giant epic battle from there, if you will. Once you've triggered a boss fight, this goo kind of raises from the floor and then like the boss gets kind of all like, ooh, spookiness, and then epic music ensues and it's this cool like fight. However, it is kind of rough here and there because of the current state of the game, but this is something they obviously will fix if they continue working on it. So obviously play the game, support them, and then just kind of voice your opinion about it. The game starts you off with this kind of cool green laser thing that's taken directly from the Ghostbusters movie, which I'm a huge fan of. However, unless you're in an actual boss fight, it's kind of useless. So say you're hunting for clues and the boss kind of shows up and haunts you for a second, it'll do nothing. It acts kind of like just this laser that hits it and then nothing happens, which is kind of sad because I feel like if you were to use that, you could at least stagger the ghost, because honestly, I felt like most of the time I couldn't exactly outrun the ghost, so I would have liked some sort of way to protect myself. However, unfortunately, that is not the case. You could say, oh, but if you're able to protect yourself with a weapon without the boss fight, then that'll make the game too easily. And I honestly say, no, that's not the case at all. Most of the time when you were running away or just kind of walking around finding clues, the ghost showed up at like corners. So a lot of the time you didn't even have time to protect yourself at all. So even if you did add this feature, you would still kind of be out of luck, if you will. That being said, there are a couple of other guns that you can purchase in the shop. However, during our playthrough, we never made enough money to actually purchase them. So saying if they do anything outside of boss battles, I can't really say and give you a real answer. Next up, there are a couple classes you can choose from. There's 4 to be exact, and they kind of take after the DPS, utility, and tank situation. However, due to how hard it is to accumulate XP, we only really got to try out 2 of them, and honestly, they didn't really make a difference in the game except for like maybe a little more health here and there. They do offer some skills, however, they're so far up the level tree that like even in 3 hours, we never even reached a special skill. So it was kind of like, I don't even know if these do anything, but they seem like they do something, but I can't at this point say that they do. So outside of the skills that you can get these like Arcana cards that are kind of like buffs, and I'm not sure if they're one time, mainly because I was too afraid to use them, mainly because they cost so much. So I was like in this panic state of like, man, should I even try using it at this point? Because if I just waste it, then it's going to take me forever to even buy another one. Honestly, you could say that's my fault, mainly because I was feeling like, oh, no, I don't want to lose the good opportunity to use that. But it's just, I feel like if you're a regular kind of player, not like a hardcore player, you'll have this thought constantly. Since I had it, so possibly you'll have it too. And you'll kind of understand where I'm coming from if you give this game a try. Then there's the shop, of course, you know, the typical shop where you have EMF bombs, you have health packs, you have glow sticks, and you have all these other toys that can kind of help you during your mission. But this has the same problem where everything is kind of expensive and getting money is really slow, at least on novice, because normal is like impossible to do at the start of the game. So I constantly just didn't want to buy stuff because I didn't know if I was going to benefit from it or if I was just going to keep dying if I moved up the difficulty. So really it just kind of becomes this like you keep playing until you feel like you're good enough to move up the difficulty, or who knows. I never got to that point. I'm still playing the game today and still kind of deciding on that. However, I'm kind of in a gray area about it. And who's to say, honestly, I could just be absolutely terrible at this game, and that's completely on me. This game does start off with 4 levels, and each of them kind of have their own theme about them, and they're really kind of cool. So let's talk about that right now, because this is my favorite part of any game, is level design. So to start off, we're going to talk about Bishop Manor, which is the basic manor. It's a really good haunted manor. It's got the old style big wood building with tiny corridors and lots of rooms. Fantastic. I love this map. I don't have a lot of issues with it. My only main problem with it is that a few times when you're doing the like second phase of a boss fight, or like the before, I'm not quite sure how to put it, some stuff spawned in the walls when it shouldn't have, and I was trying to look for it, but it was just like stuck inside the wall. So not really the design aspect is the problem. Maybe just fix up the spawning of those things, and then great, you have a fantastic map that I absolutely adore. A tiny after ad, there is these cool like paintings that like change to a different scary spooky painting. Absolutely something that you should look out for, and it's super cool to witness in game. Secondly, we have the Auburn Sanatorium. Honestly, this is just your typical sanatorium map. I do, however, really like this. You have 3 different levels you can go to. Everything's kind of really tight and spooky, and there's a lot of like corners that you can get trapped in. You can get lost really easy. Really good. I really like this map. It's kind of like this would be my middle ground map that I would probably play the most in terms of like I'm having a good time versus like, oh, this is easy because I know the layout. So I like this map a whole lot. Next up is the Jones house, which is this like creepy Illuminati house that has like this crazy reactor and like crazy experiments downstairs. This is a really neat map to look at. It's a little rough in terms of ghost hunting, mainly because like it isn't, as you would say, tight corridor spooky. It's more like this is strange, but this is kind of cool. As a design aspect, this is a neat map. I really do like this. For what the game is, it feels a little off, but still a good map. Just something I wouldn't play normally. Then finally, I left this one last mainly because it's the only one that I don't really have a positive view on because of the overglaring issues. This is the Boot Hill Cemetery. It's a very large map with branching paths that go into like these tiny boxed in areas where you have to do a lot of backtracking just to get through. The map is also huge, and there's a lot of potential places that things like UV lights can be, and other stuff that are like area bound. We did this map like 5 or 6 different times, and we felt like sometimes stuff just didn't load, and a lot of the times that like it was either glitched or like I don't know. We spent a long time trying to figure out how to get this map to work. The UV lights kept like either kind of disappearing and reappearing, or like they just straight up disappeared, or we would spend like 35 minutes walking around with the talk box, and then all of a sudden after 30 minutes of nothing, it finally says something, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, wow, you know, maybe 10 minutes in, but I've been here 30 minutes trying to figure out this one thing, and we've only solved like 1 or 2 other clues. I feel like that maybe these problems are more like there's a glitch on the map, but I can't ignore the fact that there are a lot of boxed in areas where their tombstones is. I felt like the fact that I couldn't jump over some of these tiny walls were kind of annoying. There should have been at least a way to walk through them to get around, because it just honestly, there was just way too much backtracking, which isn't the end of the world, but I felt more frustrated about this map because I wasn't having a good time or things were breaking. And again, it's just my opinion on it. I really don't like this map. The design is okay, it looks okay, but it feels rough and it plays rough. And the person I was playing with had the same concerns. It was too big, stuff kind of spawned in and out. It didn't have like any rhythm to it. So it's just, I feel like it either needs to be reworked in the system situation, or it needs to be redesigned to be more walk around friendly, because it just felt like a trap versus an actual like map, if you will. That being said, it is a cemetery, and I do understand that, and I do feel like you need a cemetery map for these types of games. I just feel like a lot of these small issues made it a really not good time, and I feel like this map could be way better. And honestly, I would like to see it way better because I do genuinely really like this game. With that being said, the devs are paying attention to people who are playing this game. When we were streaming for 3 hours, they came in. We were having a problem with the statue, and they kind of gave us the direction how to make it work. And then they asked us, our opinion of the game, if there's anything that we would like to see changed. And that was really kind of awesome. So while we have the attention of the developers, we should really use this opportunity to talk to them and really get this game into like almost a community driven, let's help them so that they can make a great product. The product is good now. It's just, like I said, a really diamond in the rough situation, and the fact that they are listening is exactly why we should give them our support and try playing the game. Because honestly, like I said, the boss fight parts, super fun. They're a really good time. They're very hard. The game is very hard. However, like I said, if we just voice our opinions, maybe they'll fix some stuff up and then make it more overall accessible to people who aren't a hardcore, shooter, ghost hunter, you know what I mean? So the links of the game are below, so make sure to check that out. So again, thank you for listening to my review and kind of just let me ramble about this, because I do see a golden opportunity that the community could really help the developers turn this into like a game that can compete with Phasmophobia itself. I know I sound like a broken record, but again, thank you very much for watching this video. This is the first time I've ever done something like this. I've never done anything like this before. So this is all new to me. Just between, us, hey, during this recording, I was sitting there hey, man, you need to breathe properly because you sound so weird. And then hearing my own voice is just very strange to me. But again, this is all something I really want to try doing and just kind of making my way into it. We do stream on Twitch a whole lot, so the links are below for both the game, my Twitch stream, and other social medias if I put up any of them up. Again, thank you very much. And if you do have a suggestion of a game I should try, definitely leave the info below. I'll check it out and maybe I'll make a video on it. Again, I just cannot say it enough. Thank you for watching, and wherever you are in the world, good day or good night. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.